Man must come to his senses and remember what our nutrition was and what happened. It's a little more than what we eat and what we do not eat. The only way to be saved is to reconcile with our Mother Earth. Hello and welcome back to Health Relaxing Tube. Healthy Eating, Part 2. Environmental Pollution. I am with you on the following of healthy eating subject. As time went on until about 150 years ago, 3 German scientists studied the Earth's surface crust. They found that the 3 main elements that are most effective for plant growth were nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. This was a revolution in the agricultural industry. They said, well, now we're going to make something that has these 3 elements in use. So chemical fertilizers have been around ever since. Almost from then on, the extinction of the human race was shaken, because it was a big mistake to think that if they could make and present these materials artificially, they would get better results. The better result meant that the plants grew more, looked much prettier, and could produce much more. But unaware that in this surface layer of the soil there are thousands or maybe millions of other substances that must be in the soil to get all the necessary materials to the plant that must grow, to reach the ideal stage of a healthy plant. In addition, earthworms, which were very necessary and useful on the ground, one of them jobs was open the soils a little to cause more nutrients and oxygen in the soil, and better be able to help the proper and healthy growth of plants. They were destroyed and disappearing. This was an obvious interference in nature, or in other words an invasion of the earth. Ever since humans began invading the soil, the use of chemical fertilizers has replaced the nutrients and millions of substances that naturally occur in the soil. The reason was that human beings are greedy creatures, and all farmers were drawn to this way for more money and profit. Often all human misery stems from the fact that no one cares about others or themselves and the quality of life. Everyone seeks to amass a handful of more money and property and possessions for the rest of their lives, and ultimately with illness and stress eventually saddened by the loss of the golden opportunity of life on planet Earth, they will leave this paradise empty-handed. This process started after the industrialization of life and has been increasing until now, and that the new generation seems is completely immersed in a deep dream and does not want to wake up. What we are unaware of is that nature is always protecting itself. Nature has its own laws. One of the laws of nature is that weakness is trampling. It is the same even in animals and plants. As you can see that those animals have more survival that are stronger. Or plants that are weak or defective are destroyed by nature, through ways such as insects and pests. Now, the so-called conscious and scientific human being, in the next step towards his own extinction, has unfortunately created pesticides. And these pesticides are something like antibiotics or chemotherapy that destroys the good and the bad together. Unaware that these pesticides kill worms, they kill bees and some very useful and necessary insects. Man looked at pests and insects as an enemy, while these caused healthy and full-grown plants to grow, and incomplete plants to perish. So another revolution was added to the revolution of chemical fertilizers, which was pesticides. This method of human intervention in nature or encroachment on land and soil, caused that many of the beneficial properties that were on the surface of the soil did not reach plants, nor did it reach humans and animals through food. And this has a huge impact on health and food, and in general causes very different deficiencies in humans and animals. In addition to the effects of chemical fertilizers themselves and disrespect for the laws of nature, such as resting on the ground, we see what harm it is doing to humans. For example, 50 years ago, if an orange gave us about 50 milligrams of vitamin C, today the same orange may not give us 5 milligrams of vitamin C. Or 50 years or 100 years ago, a spoonful of spinach, the nutritional properties it used to give, may have reached 1/70th today. And these properties are diminishing over time. The greedy man continued to think about productivity and personal gain, regardless of his health, animals, plants and land. In addition, humans themselves take foods out of the natural state and add large amounts of antibiotics and hormones to the food, and add additives and colors and preservatives, and finally give a lot of heat to the food to destroy it, pasteurize it, bleach it, and puts in aluminum cans and packages. This means that we destroy all its properties. Just look at what we do to a normal food that should be healthy, whole and natural. As far as can be heard, some ignorant people try to make a complete artificial food without any natural substance and only chemically, so that human beings can eat faster and go to work like a machine. Fortunately, today we see that a large number of activists on social networks and the internet are informing their fellow human beings, in order to take an effective step towards improving the living conditions of the earth and the living beings. Of course, it goes without saying that many unwise and selfish people still use this method to deceive the masses and for personal gain. For this reason, I suggest again that you simply do not believe all the research and content, and spend more time studying and finding the right sources. The Health Relaxing Tube channel also tries to help improve the quality of life for all of us in this way by publishing the real experiences and the most trusted sources after years of long research. In addition, new things like GMOs have been started, to take different chromosomes from different animals' breeds and inject them into plants, just to grow more. While a plant needs to grow and evolve in a certain period of time by nature. Although man came from nature, he still does not believe in the power and greatness of nature and is always trying to show his superiority to his Mother Earth. It is better for man to reconcile with nature and return to his Mother's Earth. This may be the only way to save mankind and a better life in this paradise before it is too late. Thank you for being with me. To see the next episode of Healthy Eating and the continuation of this series, please turn on your notification button. If the content of this video was useful, please consider to like and subscribe. Happy food, happy body.